Hey guys, how's everybody doing? This is the lock that we're going to be working on today. This is an Illinois duo, commonly called a Chicago duo. Sorry about my lighting there, it's really bright. This is the key. These locks are really cool. They have 14 wafers inside, and as you can see here on the key, there's bitting on both sides. Its bitting is different. There's 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom, and then if you look on this side, there's only one cut on my particular key here, but it just doesn't really change it much. There's still 4 wafers that run along that bow of the key where that little one cut is. So there's another 4 wafers there. So the key goes in, lock works perfectly, super smooth. Pull the key out, it's locked up, it's not going nowhere. So we're going to try to get this picked today. Going to try to single wafer pick it. I'm going to use this Sparrow steep hook in 25 thousandths and a 50 thousandths top of the keyway pry bar, which could be used top or bottom of the keyway, but I'm going to go for top. Here we go. I want to use this steep hook because the wafers in here are stacked really close together, and I want to be able to get the pick on one wafer at a time so I'm not raking in a sense. Okay, there was a little turn on the core, a little click, and I'm just gonna slowly work my way up the stack, trying to set the pick on every wafer as I move up, and then when I flip over to the bottom side, I'm going to try to do the very same. Just touch every wafer. There's another little click and a slight turn. Okay, I got one, feels like it's binding here. That might have been the one that I set on the top though. I'm going to leave him. Now these wafers are in it's a really strange configuration. I've had this core apart once. There's stacked up right next to each other, but they're staggered, so it'll be one top, one bottom, one center, one top, one bottom, one center, in an alternating pattern like that all the way to the back. So it can be tricky to know if you're working on a top wafer or a bottom wafer. You can go fairly heavy on the tension with these because wafer locks are somewhat forgiving in that way. Yeah. Okay, I'm having trouble getting on this guy. Pick placement here is probably the most important aspect of picking these. You've got to make sure you isolate the wafer that you're trying to manipulate, and then give it, a push. It can be very difficult to get your pick centered on that single wafer. And the wafers, once I get it opened, I'll pull it apart and show you how the wafers are configured. You can't use a pick with a broad tip. You can't use like a standard hook. You might be able to get away with a gem if your bitting doesn't vary wildly, but the bitting in this lock does vary pretty good from the top and the bottom row of wafers. So you've got to use something like this where it's got a nice fine tip and you can really center up on a single wafer at a time. If you're going to single wafer pick this. If you're going to rake it, by all means go all out. Might take you a while. But then pick placement certainly wouldn't be quite as crucial. Okay, a little tiny click out of one of the wafers up front. And get to the back. Now I'm levering off of my tension wrench in the top when I'm working on the bottom wafers, and on the bottom I'm actually levering off of the bottom of the keyway because there's just enough room that the bottom of my pick doesn't interfere with the wafers on the bottom. Okay. Now because of the offset, the way that the third row of wafers is offset, I think that's where I'm binding now. But then you have to work a little differently because that row of wafers is off in the corner, kind of in a weird angle. Hard to explain. Okay, but I just felt one kind of give a little bit on me. One of the third row of wafers. So I'm going to go back to my other pick and work across the top again. Okay. Top's not giving me anything. We'll go to the bottom. Got something binding in the back here. Got a little click. Trying to get lined up on this wafer here. It's eluding me. Okay, I'm going to go back to the side, to the third row of bidding. It is a little tricky to navigate this, to all these different wafers. They're located in different positions. They're cut at different angles. It's a pretty wild lock. Really cool design. Probably one of the highest security wafer locks there is out there. My last video we saw how typically a wafer lock does not provide a high level of security. But like anything, if it has, if the design is good, the design is good. And even something like a wafer lock, which is typically sort of frowned upon, if you will, as being any form of security, if it's done right, it can make all the difference. And these Chicago duos, they really do it right. Okay, get another little click out of one of the third row. Go back to the top. Now I know you can't see me alternating picks here, but every time I try to go to that third row, I drop the steep hook and I grab the Tron to work on that third row because it's set off in the left side of the keyway and it's kind of narrow in there. It's really difficult to fit this steep hook above the wafers to get any leverage on them. And there's a nice little chunk of warding that runs right over top of the third row of wafers that's kind of hidden in the side here. Switching picks again, going back to the top. Not getting a whole lot of action here. Going to release just a hair of tension. I heard one click. Might have overset one of the wafers. You can overset the wafers because they run from top to bottom in the keyway. If you push one up too high, you'll lift it beyond. It has to shear at the top and bottom at the same time. So if the pin's down in the bottom of the lock here, and you're pushing it up, you have to push it up to shear, but if you push it too far, you'll push the top end of the same wafer up into the opposite side of the core here, or side of the lock body. So you'll essentially be relocking it with the wafer that you just picked. So it's important to be mindful of that, and to know that if you're getting zero feedback from anything, you might just want to check, let off a little bit of tension, let something drop in case you've overset a wafer. Okay, I just got a nice click and a little bit of turn on the core. So hopefully we're back on the right track. Go back to the top. Alright, this guy's resisting me. I don't want to push him too hard because, like I said, he might already be at shear, and that's why he's not wanting to move. And if I force him, I'll push him into the opposite side of the lock body. There we go, got a little click, little turn on the core. Let's go back to the top. That was on the third row that I just got a click. On the side bitting, if you will. Come back to the bottom. I think it's really cool that these companies come up with designs like this, where even though it's a wafer lock and it might not be the the highest security option that you can get, because of the uniqueness of it, anybody approaching this, not just anybody approaching this lock is going to understand what's happening, or going to have prior knowledge of what they're encountering. So if they do have some picking knowledge, they may give it an attempt and realize they're getting nowhere fast, and they decide that they might want to try a more destructive method of entry. Okay, just got another little click out of the side row of bitting here, and another slight turn on the core. We're getting there. Okay, got something binding up top. Give him a little nudge if we can, if he's not already in his place. Okay, we're going to try the bottom because he doesn't want to move. Okay, that felt like a little counter rotation, strangely enough. It certainly gave me a good click and a little turn on the core. So I'm gonna say that I did the right thing. I haven't picked this lock yet, so I'm maiden voyage right here. Go back to the top row. feels like counter rotation again, which is strange to me, but it worked the last time, so okay, feels like I got him. Go to the bottom. Okay, again, felt like counter rotation, and I got a little turn on the core. And go for another one. Gotta get over top of this third row of bitting here. See if I can't make him talk. I feel like I'm about to lose my tension. I'm going to hold it with my pick and readjust tension. Okay. Go back to the top here. Definitely got something fully bound. I'm going to try to get right on him and see if I can move him. If not, he's probably set. Okay, got a little click. There we go. Felt like counter rotation, and we've got an open. So let me keep that in frame because I do really want credit for this one. All right, gonna angle my camera down here, sit him right there. Now it's a wafer lock. You can see it is open, it's picked. I'm gonna lock him back up because I have my key here, my trusty key. And pull this clip off the back. I don't want to damage this lock. There we go. That came off beautifully. All right. Now we will pop this core out and we'll show you guys how these wafers work. So, I don't want to lose any. So you can see here, all the wafers are there, first of all. Let's just get that for the record. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's 18 wafers. So I was wrong. I thought there was only 14. But it would appear that there are 18 individual wafers. Oh, those aren't wafers. Oh, yeah, they are. I can't actually tell. Some of these look like they might not be wafers. They might be part of the core. Let me see. Let's see if I can move this. Yes, so that is a wafer. Okay. So I'm just going to count again with us for this video here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 wafers. So there you go. Chicago Duo, 18 wafers. I'll pull one of these out. I don't want to disassemble this whole thing because there's a lot of parts. But I'll pull one of these out so you can see what we're looking at. Oh, okay. Just lost a spring. But there you go. There's one of the wafers. They're all going to look similar, although each of them is going to be a little bit different. The hole in the center is going to be a little higher or a little lower. Bitting will be slightly different, and that's how they vary the bitting on those. I really hope that I can deduce how to put this back in there the correct way. Ooh, I'm losing stuff. This is not good. It almost looks like one wafer uses 2 springs. Or, I mean, 2 wafers use 1 spring, that's what I meant to say. That's what it almost appears to be to me. So let's see. This is the top, and this is the top. And I would suppose that the spring goes in here. And then we're going to put it back in here and see if that works. No, that spring is not, those springs are not functioning. The wafers are correct, but the springs are not functioning. So I gotta find out what I did. Okay. I'm going to make a risky move here and pull out the next wafer and see if I can't gather some information from it. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay, that's 2 wafers, and they're sharing a spring. So that must be the configuration. And it was on, it went in from this side. Okay, I think I see what I did. Well, that's not right. Why did I let you guys talk me into this? Alright, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to cut the video there and try to figure this out. But there you go, Chicago Duo, wafer lock, picked, gutted, kind of. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope my narrating was helpful in some kind of way. Have a good day, guys.